All right, fifth and sixth graders, thank you so much for joining me to do your Friday homework. We're going to take a look at lesson 13 in your light unit that's on page 42. So if you haven't had that opened up already, go ahead and do that now. Like I mentioned before, don't let me just give you the answers. If you have a pause button, you're going to want to be able to access that so you could press pause to give yourself a chance to see whether you have the right answer, and then you could correct it right there after you press play and hear my answer. So the very first thing we're going to do is talk about words that are confusing, things that could kind of get us mixed up sometimes. So let's take a look at the first set of confusing words. Sit and set. They look similar, they sound similar, but they mean very different things. So sit, to rest or be seated. Set, to put or place something. If you have notes or if you have a highlighter, you could highlight this or rewrite it yourself. Sit equals to be seated. Set means to place. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at number 1. And we're going to practice, in fact, scan through anything that has this sit, set choice. So go down to where you see the little arrow, a little pointing, and we're going to take a look at number 1 because that's our first option to choose between these confusing words. Watch how I make this decision. I'm not going to go by what sounds right. Karen blank the basket of eggs on the step. Did Karen place the basket of eggs on the step, or was Karen seated? If I think it's to place, then which one do I choose? Sit or set? If you circled set, you are correct. Karen set, S-E-T, the basket of eggs on the step. Okay, number 2 deals with another word. Ignore that one. 3 deals with another one. 4 deals with another one. 5 deals with another one. 6. Oh, go to number 7. 7. If it is warm outside, Grandpa will sit or set on the porch. Will Grandpa rest on the porch, or will Grandpa be placed on the porch? If you said sit on the porch, S-I-T, you are correct. Our next confusing word has to do with rise, R-I-S-E, and raise, R-A-I-S-E. So if we look at the definition for rise, it means to go up and by itself. Raise is to lift, push, or grow, and you need to name the thing that you are raising. So first, for example, I could think of the hot air balloon will rise because of that hot air, makes it rise with the cold air. I could think of the sun rising, and so those are things that go up by itself. Raise, you have to raise your hand, or some of you might raise chickens or poultry or goats for 4-H. So those are some differences. Now let's take a look at the examples. I found number 2 here, and I want to give you an opportunity to choose. Water vapor rises or raises to form clouds. Does water vapor go up by itself, or is it something that you are lifting or pushing or growing? Did you choose rise? Because then it's correct. Water vapor rises to form clouds. Let's scan through and do number 4 together. 4 says, Grandmother asked Tina to raise or rise the window shade a little higher. Does that window shade go up by itself, or is it lifted by Tina? If you picked raise, you are correct. So number 4 is raise. Another confusing word is lie, L-I-E, and lay, L-A-Y. And here we're not talking about to tell a lie, we're talking about why these two get confused. And lie means to rest, and And lay means to put or place something. So if I want to lie down in the grass and look up at the stars, that means I want to rest in the grass and look up at stars. Lay means to put or place something. Oh, where did I lay that pencil? I can't find it. Where a chicken will lay an egg. So with this one, it means to put or place something, and you need to tell me what it is being laid down. So the subject lays what is a good way to test this word lay. Let's take a look at some examples. So I see that example in number 3. I think I will blank down to get rid of this headache, said Laura. I will rest or I will place. I will rest is really the better fit. So I hope you picked L-I-E. I will lie down to get rid of the headache. Take a look at number 5. It says, Father will L-I-E or L-A-Y newspapers on the floor before he begins varnishing the cedar chest. Will Father rest the newspapers, or are the newspapers resting and napping, or are they being placed? Okay, if you picked L-A-Y, you are correct. And how can we test that? We say subject, which is Father, will lay what? If I could answer that what question, then you know you've got the right answer. Will lay what? Newspapers. So L-A-Y was correct. All right. Finally, we have then and than. I see this mistake often. So then means next. And here's how I can remember. The E and then reminds me of the E in next. It has to do with when something gets done. First, I will go to the store. Then I will buy some eggs. Than is a comparison of 2 or more things. An elephant is bigger than a chipmunk. So there's a comparison. Let's go ahead and take a look right here. Number 6, cold air weighs more blank warm air. So am I talking about what will happen next, or am I making a comparison? I think you all circled than. Awesome. Right over here, you need to write a sentence using each word correctly. So I did use some sentences in the examples, or you could look at the examples here to give you an idea, but come up with your own sentence. Make sure, though, your sentences start with capitals and with punctuation, have pretty decent spelling, so I need you to try on that. Let me just scan through, and we do have some diagramming, so we're going to do that next. Next, we have diagramming. I hope that you've taken out your bright colored sheets of paper. This is meant to help you. You could go through what I call question confirmation to help you identify your parts of speech, which helps you put it into a diagram. The very first thing I ask myself is, what or who is the sentence about? This will tell me my subject. So if you said it is about Aaron's birthday, so really Aaron's describes the birthday, and I really want to focus in on the noun. So here is my subject noun. I could put birthday right here. Next, I say birthday what? I'm looking for my verb, birthday, and I'm looking for an action verb or state of being verb. So that's question confirmation number 2. And let's see if you could find a state of being verb. The am, is, are, was, were, being, been. And good. I hope you found that state of being verb is. Birthday is. Here I've got, I'm going to look for any word that modifies my noun. And so is there any word that describes the birthday, modifies the birthday by asking a question of whose birthday? You said Aaron, so I'm going to put it on a line underneath birthday, and I know that that was right. That Aaron, apostrophe S, is an adjective showing that we're answering the question of whose birthday? Aaron's birthday. So that's why it's a modifier. Is when. Is when. So that's our next question on our confirmation. If I could say if there's anything modifying my verb, it's an adverb, especially if it answers the question, when. Looks like I've got one word left, and it's say. So do you have a word that just stands apart? Does it show some excitement or emotion or stand apart of that sentence? It is an interjection. I'm going to label that interjection, and I should move this right here. And it's going to go right above your birthday right here. It's its own thing because it's an interjection. So here I've labeled everything. That labeling helps me figure out where it goes here. I've got my subject, my verb, an adjective, an adverb, and an interjection. Here's our next sentence. It's the big one. You guys are getting stronger at this, so we're going to try some bigger ones. A giant oil field was discovered at Prudhoe Bay. The first thing on our question confirmation is ask who or what the sentence is about. Oh, you guys said giant oil field. You're correct. Now we're specifically looking out of here for the noun, the person, place, or thing. I think you found it. Field. So I'm going to make sure it goes here where my subjects go. Field. Then I look for the verb. It could be an action verb. It could be a state of being verb, or even a verb phrase. Was discovered. So you might have found the action verb right away. This is a verb. And here's that helping verb, was discovered. So this is also a verb, a helping verb and the action verb. I'm going to include them both because I have to include the whole verb phrase over where my verbs go. Then next on my question confirmation, I ask, is there anything that modifies my subject noun? Okay, if you said an oil field, a giant, and a, because they all modify the field there, then I have to put them under the field. So a is capitalized because it's capitalized there. Giant describes what kind, and oil describes what kind of field we have. The next thing I see is at Prudhoe Bay. This reminds me of something. It reminds me of at, in, on, over, are prepositional words. So if we recognize at as a prepositional word, you notice that I have a prepositional phrase, which I'm just going to block off here. And I know prepositional phrases always start with the preposition and with the object of the preposition, which is all of this right here. This is the object of the preposition. So I'm going to put at right here and Prudhoe Bay. Here we go. That was a tough one, but you did great. I think the rest of it you could do on your own, but I am going to clarify number 26. Number 26 says, write a compound sentence using one of your conjunctions that you've learned. So don't forget, our conjunctions are our fanboys. What are the fanboys? For and nor, but, or, yet, so. So if I do a compound sentence, that means I need to have an independent clause, then one of my fanboys, and an independent clause, and a period. So let me go ahead and think of an example. You can't take my example, but you could write down one like it. I was hungry is a sentence that could stand all by itself. But if I follow that up with a so, I went to the store, it makes a compound sentence. I was hungry stands by itself. I went to the store stands by itself. But when I put it together and combine it with the so, I've made a compound sentence. The other thing to note is I need to put a comma in. Where should it go? Okay, you have to put it after your first clause, your first independent clause. I was hungry. where that period was before is where I put that comma in it. It always goes before my conjunction. I was hungry, comma, so I went to the store. Please make sure when you write your sentence, it has proper capitalization and it has proper punctuation. Okay, I hope you have good luck doing your 20 minutes, doing the rest of your grammar. Good luck.